Good morning, everybody. TGIF Trade Geeks, it's Friday. Today is June 6th, 2025. Today's hot topic is the famous 232 steel and aluminum tariffs and their derivatives. So, what's hot to trot this week? Well, the USMCA qualification does not get you a get out of jail free card like Monopoly. So these tariffs, I think, are here to stay. But they do, the Section 232 steel and aluminum and their derivatives, it does get you out of the EPA fentanyl tariff, right? So, that's some silver lining on what's been a dark cloud here this year. So, the other important point to point out here that is kind of interesting is even if you have 1 penny of content of steel and aluminum in your article, right, that then in your good is subject to the 232 steel and aluminum tariffs, well, that gets you out of the EPA again. So I think that's a funny trick there that we see. So, we need to talk about some best business practices. So, it's very important to comply for the mandates of the 232 steel and aluminum tariffs here is that you got to have robust documentation to withstand a customs audit. Customs has moved a bunch of IRS agents to CBP, so we do expect some verifications. We have to do our due diligence and make sure that everything's in order. So what are some best business practices? Well, you should maintain some kind of engineering manufacturing specifications of the articles you're producing. There's the materials, spec sheets, suppliers, steel affidavits, mill certificates, all those documentations that are normally, go along with a steel and aluminum type of article. Also make sure that, you have a weight calculation and documents to substantiate your weight calculation. Because you're expected to calculate how much aluminum and steel by weight is in your article. So calculation worksheets are really important, and as well as your supply chain documentation, commercial invoices, and such. And then your sourcing and manufacturing processes. So, that's what we're recommending here, some best business practices to comply with the Section 232 steel and aluminum. And, everybody, Imani will be here this week. She's going to talk a little bit about what's going on with a case that the CIT ruled on, and which was appealed by the administration immediately, that is probably going to lead to the Supreme Court. So it's going to be a while before we hear something back. I think the markets continue to push back, and I don't know. I think, as we mentioned in our earlier videos back in February and March, they should have just come up with a sales tax and avoided a lot of this hoopla. But I think a lot of it, if you look at both sides, is like, how do you implement change? So change is tough. So everybody, I hope you have a good weekend, and I hope you're enjoying our videos here as we strive to continue to bring them to you every week. And don't forget to follow us at www.trade-flex.com. And also follow us on LinkedIn. We're always trying to post some good content there, from our creators there. We got Austin, Garcia, Ernesto, and Mari. So thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.